Hello folks, welcome to a new episode of Grave Time. Today we're in Sacramento, California at the Old City Cemetery. Today's episode is the Mortuary Chapel, which you can see it says built in 1893. Before this place was fully constructed, they started with the roof, and they had pillars on the sides. They waited for the roof to fully dry before they removed these main pillars so they could start putting up the walls. In the process of that, the set that they used to basically keep the wall from falling down, I don't know, we could just call it glue. It's not really glue, but the stuff that they used to keep the bricks together basically fell down on two of the workers. One with the last name Larson and Fitzgerald. They were able to remove the rocks, or not the rocks, but the bricks, rocks, bricks, whatever, that were for the ceiling, out of the roof, whatnot, and Fitzgerald was okay. He had a little bit of bruising, whatever, he was okay, but they realized that Larson was buried under 4 feet of rock, or brick, and once they recovered him, they realized that he had broke his neck and died. So, in the making of this mortuary, a man by the name of Larson died in the process of building this. Now, this cemetery here started in 1850. The land was given for the cemetery by John Sutter of Sutter's Fort fame. There's also John Sutter Jr., who was allowed by his father to name the city, and he decided to name it after the Sacramento River, which runs through Sacramento. And in later years, in 1861 and 1862, we had the Great Floods, and when it flooded, not only the river overflowed, but it flooded all of Sacramento, and due to the water flooding, people got sick. A lot of people got sick, and a lot of people died. A lot of people died here in Sacramento because of, not only because of the floods, not just from drowning, because the water was contaminated. It was contaminated with fecal matter, with just all sorts of stuff, and people died of cholera outbreak. Cholera basically is a symptom of dehydration that takes place within your body. It basically dries out your insides, and then once your insides are dried out, it basically spew up your organs and or die of the dehydration. Today, when that takes place, there's something that they can give people that allows them to get the electrolytes and the nutrients that they need inside their body in order to fight the cholera outbreak. Sacramento was basically known for flooding, a lot of people died. I mean, thousands of people died in Sacramento due to the floods. This is, if you really think about Sacramento, this is the city of the dead. A lot of people died. Lots of people died. It's very sad. Well, the city eventually got the idea to build everything up on stilts. And so, in sometime in the late 1800s, I'm not really sure exactly what year, but I think it started, I want to say in the early 1880s all the way until the early 90s of the 1800s. They built the city of Sacramento up on stilts. about, from my understanding, was up to about 3 feet, or not 3 feet, excuse me. Come on, what's the word I'm thinking of here? 3 stories. 3 stories. Took 3 stories to get that sucker up on stilts. The whole entire city's on stilts. If you go to Old Sac, you can take a tour of the. If you go to Old Sacramento, which is the old city, right along the side of the river where it would flood all the time, you can take a tour of the underground. I'm still trying to decide if I'm going to do that or not. There is an episode from, I want to say it could, I don't know, jeez, I want to say it's like episode, not the episode, no, season. I think it's like the, I don't know, I think it's somewhere between the 9th and 11th season of the TV show Ghost Adventures. Came to Sacramento, went to downtown, and they did a thing where they went and looking for ghosts or whatever in the underground tunnels, and they caught on camera a black shadow that was moving, a black entity moving across the camera. Now, I don't know about you, but that was good enough to tell me I don't need to go down there. But why is that not stopping me from coming to cemeteries? Well, truth be told, I've been to the cemetery many times and I've never been scared my whole entire life. And I feel at peace when I come to the cemetery. I feel at peace when I go to a lot of cemeteries. You know, I go to a cemetery, I'm not going here to ghost hunt. I'm not here to conjure up spirits. I'm not a psychic. I'm just here to basically to learn about the history and share that with you folks. Whether you're from here, from Sacramento, or you're from another state or another country, I just basically just want to shed light on the history of California and its rich history. And I just happen to live in Sacramento, or I should say I live in Elk Grove, but I work in the Sacramento area. I work not too far away. If you saw the episode on the Sacramento Gallows, that's where I work, right next to where those gallows were. So yeah, this is the mortuary. So this property here was already established. You know, these tombstones and everything over here, this was all established. And then they decided that they needed a mortuary. And so what they would do here is they would store dead bodies in here until the police or whoever could identify the bodies with family members, you know, if people were murdered or if they just died naturally. In a sense, this was like the very first morgue. Now, I came here, last time I was in this building, I bought a t-shirt, which doesn't fit me, but I still have it. Went on a tour here with my mom, and I believe that was in 2001 or 2002. Today it's June 2nd, 2018. Yesterday was my birthday. I just turned 37. Yeah, happy birthday to me, right? So we walked in there, and this used to be actually the main office. They used to have books and books and books and paper, and it used to be basically where they stored all the information for the cemetery. And it was also the gift shop. So I got kind of my ankle's kind of bothering me today. My left ankle is kind of bothering me today, so I'm gonna attempt to climb these stairs here, and we'll go inside and check out the Mortuary Chapel. It is a very beautiful day here. It's a Saturday. They just got done doing a tour here, which I forgot about. Also, I missed. Alright, in we go. So apparently, this inside here was just fully restored back in 2016, the fall of 2016. And there's little tiny pictures of things here. So if you ever come here, you can See, these doors are just super old. These are old doors, almost look like kind of like a bank vault door. Yeah. Well, so we got some signs up in here, kind of telling you about some of the history of the cemetery. Another one on the history of the cemetery. This one's really cool. You ever wonder what those statues are on top of graves? Well, here's one. Tells you what the little symbols stand for. So let's just go through one by one of them. Got the lamb, weeping willow, the rose, laurel wreath, calla lily, Easter lily, the shell, hand of God, and dove with olive branch, draped urn. There is a lot of these here in the cemetery, meaning a lot of people here are mourning and grieving. And here's one for the Freemasons. And the Odd Fellows logo. The hands together shaking. The cross with a crown. Most likely meaning that this person here was a Christian. Anchor. The finger pointing down. It's definitely warm in here. There's no fan. It's kind of warm today, you know. It's we're getting close to the summer, so things are going to start to heat up around here in Sacramento. Here's a little memory of one of the tour guides. He looks very familiar, but I'm not 100% sure if I do one of his tours or not. Passed away in 2001. Kind of looks familiar, but I'm not 100% sure. Here's the original entrance to the cemetery. Looks nothing like that today. Here's the story of the bricks that fell on Larson and Fitzgerald. And this is basically talking about, you know, the desire to have a cemetery, especially with all these people flocking to California, you know, for gold, to get rich quick. And then here's just something, you know, just basically telling the story about the restoration of the chapel. Like I said, it's a beautiful day out today. Man, look at this stone here. I think it's pretty cool that they got sprinklers here. Now, far out in the distance here, the old part of the cemetery I should say dies. It stops, and then becomes the Freemasons part of the cemetery, and then the Oddfellows part of the cemetery. And then way, way, way out in the far corner, I tried to look for it one day and I couldn't find it, but my understanding is behind some bushes is where they cremate the bodies of homeless people. People didn't really have any family, no one could pay for their funeral, so they cremate them and they bury them in just one big giant plot, otherwise known as a potter's grave. I don't know about you, but I don't want to be buried in a potter's grave. I think I would like to be buried. I do know for a fact I would want to be buried, and I would want a tombstone, and I would want the information on there about who I was, whether people in the near future want to know something about me or not. I like to think that somewhere in the near future there'll be someone else just like me that's eager to learn about the history that's within these tombstones, within these layers of dirt, the lives that once walked this earth, and the stories that they have to tell. Death is a thing that we're all going to encounter. We're all going to encounter it. Just a matter of time of when. Tomorrow could be your day. It may not be. Tomorrow's not promised. It's not. It's not promised at all. And even if I was to go, or someone else in my family was to go, I can't blame God for that. Because death is part of living. You're born, you live, and then you die. And then there's the next chapter of your life, depending on what you believe. But I'm a Christian, and I believe in Jesus Christ, and I believe that He's my Lord and Savior, and I believe that when I die, I'm going to go to heaven. And I'll be in a peaceful place without evil, without crime, without murder, without sadness, sorrow. Be a place of nothing but happiness and joy, rejoicing, praise. Something to think about there, right there, folks. Where are you going when you die? I'm not here to shove anything down your throat. I don't know what you believe in, but I highly recommend you look into this Jesus fella, find out what he's all about. Because if I think he's right for me, and he's right for a lot of other people, he might be right for you. I mean, I know for a fact he is, but you have to make that conscious decision. And not only do you have to confess it with your mouth that Jesus Christ is Lord. Well, folks, I didn't mean to get into this whole sermon, but Jesus is a huge part of my life, and when I am surrounded by death, I'm automatically reminded of the things to come. Not just in my life, but the people I love. It's a reality. It's a reality. And I mean, I don't really talk about it too much in my videos, but sometimes I do. I just can't help but to want to think about it and speak about it this time in this video. Well, it's getting hot. I gotta go potty. Folks, thank you so much for watching this episode of Grave Time. Please like, subscribe, comment on this video. Please tell your friends and family, if you know people in your family that are into this kind of stuff, that into American history, they're into the history of California, Sacramento, surrounding areas. Maybe they have a fascination with graveyards. Hell, maybe they're gothic. I don't know. Maybe they have a fascination with death. I don't know. Tell them about my channel. Tell them to subscribe. And those people out there that are subscribers, thank you so much. I don't know who half of you guys are, but if you ever want to chime in the comments and say, hey, you know, I'm so-and-so, I subscribe to your channel, and I'm from this city, or this town, or this country, and maybe just tell me a little bit about yourself, and, you know, how you stumbled upon, you know, my video, or maybe even say why I'm choosing to subscribe to your channel. That'd be really cool. It is a beautiful day. It really is. It's the start of June. It means things are going to start to warm up. And I don't know about you, but if you don't live in Sacramento, you have no idea what the heat is like here. I'm already looking forward to the fall. Not because of Halloween, you know, or Thanksgiving, but I'm really looking forward to fall. That's my favorite season. It's not too hot, not too cold. It's just right. So yes, thank you for watching this episode of Grave Time. God bless you all, and have a wonderful day. This is Christian Apple signing off, saying thank you.